Good morning. We're taking another look over at guncalendars.com, where we attempt to archive daily firearms history. And today is May 22nd, and we've got a couple of things to look at today. Kind of an ironic one to some extent. Maybe I'm being a little funny there, but first let's take a look at the real one. We have from 1985, the anniversary of National Legislation Infringement Law Enforcement Officers Protection Act of 1985, not to be confused with the Law Enforcement Officers Security Act, something of 2000 something. That would be LEOSA. That's a little different. Law Enforcement Officers Protection Act of 1985 is the one that prohibited the manufacture, import, or sale of armor-piercing ammunition. Of course, skewing the definition of armor-piercing and infringing on, well, basically FFL's right to sell and barter in what they call armor-piercing ammunition from them. So it doesn't, from what I understand, doesn't prevent an individual from owning it or buying it or selling it or doing anything with it. It just prohibits licensees. So people that are licensed to manufacture ammunition or sell firearms, are, the way I understand it, they're not allowed to deal with armor piercing. And again, armor piercing not in the sense that you might think technically armor piercing, but in the sense that in 1985 they thought it could go through soft armor. So this was another piece of federal legislation that infringed on firearms, and it's going to be interesting. I'm recording this at the beginning of the month. We'll see how what happens, but at the time this seems like a pretty interesting video to be laying down on the internet. Our goal here isn't to incite or to be agent provocateurs. We're just really trying to promote firearms history, and it happens to be a law enforcement thing today. And like I say, maybe ironically, it's the day that the donut was invented in 1847, and I believe if you look it up, there's not much dispute. This guy here invented the donut with a hole in it. Captain Hanson Gregory. If you look around, this guy says he did, and nobody really says anything different. That he got sick of eating basically what had been donuts at the time, which were big lumps of dough without the hole in it, and he got sick of eating all that raw dough. So he started poking a hole in it, and genius that he is, it was called a dough with DOUGH, and then of course we switched it over to donuts at some point because we ain't got time for all that. 1847. Is it ironic that they would do the Law Enforcement Officers Protection Act on the same day that donuts were invented? Or is that just completely unrelated irony? Let us know in the comments what you think. Keep it civil. We want to thank our Patreons for allowing us to keep the websites up, to keep them full of info. It takes some time to come up with it and to manicure, keep the sites alive and full. And then the time it takes to record these. It usually takes an entire day to sit down and record these, edit, and upload them. Let us know in the comments if you think it's worth it. And I guess comments about what we talked about today. As always, thanks for watching.